talked about mini games on this channel. Exactly 1 game. Well, 2 if you count the bit where I mentioned Gary's mod, but I digress. By the time I was around 1/4 of the way through Infinite Wealth, Persona 3 Reload came out. And as someone who has never played a Persona game before, I ate that shit up. Then I played Persona 4.
I feel like I'm being swept away. What the hell are you two doing?
And now I'm currently playing Persona 5.
Oh, there! That feels so good.
I just turned off Morgana.
Anyways, Persona 4, Golden to be exact, is my favorite game of all time. The characters, the story, the emotion... Everything just hits. People have covered this game to death, so I'm going to do the same thing. But instead of covering the story or whatever, I'm going to discuss what I would like to see in a Persona 4 remake. What music I would change, the voice cast.
Down. Holy shit, the wardrobe malfunction was mine!
I'll go over it all. Personally, Persona 4 is fine in the current state that it is. Yeah, there are some things that would be nice to have from the modern Persona series, but I still love the style and the feeling from Persona 4 Golden. I think that a remake for it should be put at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to remaking releasing stuff for Atlas. I feel like Persona 6 and Metaphor, then Persona 1 and 2 Remake are in order first. Then Atlas can decide if they really want to remake Persona 4 or not. With the knowledge I have of Persona 3 Reload,
She might be so hungry, she could eat a house.
and Persona 5 Royale,
No, Joker!
here's what I would like to see in a Persona 4 remake, Persona 4 Rewind, if you will. And of course, this is all my opinion. Now, the story in Persona 4 is amazing, but with Marie being added in as a big part of Golden, it just feels kinda thrown in. Granted, for a re-release of the game, they probably wouldn't put that much work into it, but for a remake, I would like to see a sort of rewrite of the story. Now, I'm not saying fully rewrite it, I'm just saying rewrite Marie's parts into a way where they flow more smoothly into the story. A lot of reviews for Persona 4 criticizes Marie's character, saying that she was just added on, and I mean, what else would they do? Another thing I would really like to see is more stuff done with Adachi. I've been watching the Persona 4 anime with my partner, and it's an okay anime. The pacing is terrible, but the added scenes make it flow a much better. And I feel like they add a lot more character to Adachi, especially the episode with Adachi's fight, which I will cover later. Adachi's backstory being shown, or at least more in-depthly explained, would make players not really sympathize with him, but more of understand where he's coming from. I feel like the Golden animation thing could also be applied to Marie as well, as a lot of scenes in the anime add Marie into it, which characterizes them more. I feel like instead of having Marie's social link being one that's optional, make it one like Teddy's or Adachi's after the 6th rank, where it progresses as the story goes on. Also, for the fact that you have to do it for the Golden part of the ending, it would only make sense. Overall, that's pretty much it for the story. The story is perfect besides those 2 things, and it flows really well. It's just one of the best written stories I've ever seen. Now on to something that I kind of touched on, but didn't. Social links. I won't talk about Adachi or Marie's social links since I pretty much covered them in the story parts, but there are a few things I would like to change about the social links. For one, fully voiced social links. Now I understand it's a lot of work voicing stuff, but I feel like fully voiced social links would just be a nice addition. Persona 3 Reload did it really well, and the emotions that the VA put into it are amazing.
What did I do?
So I feel like it would be really nice for Persona 4 Rewind as well. Another thing is to bring back the lost but not forgotten Yosuke romance social link. I love Yosuke. He's such an amazing character.
My motorcycle!
He loves you so much, either romantically or best bud type of way, but there is just too much so-you hints throughout the entire game that feels like a waste not to include it. Hell, they already had the line's voice. They could just do it again.
So what do you think, partner? Want to be my partner?
I feel like also adding a romance for kanji would be nice, but then again, I feel like that's stretching a little bit. That's about it for the social links in my opinion. They give you plenty of time to work through them and stuff from what I've done. Granted, I didn't finish all of them, but if I just managed my time well, it could have worked out in the end. I feel like this might be a little bit of a hot take, but I don't really think that Persona 3 Reloads and Persona 5 Royale style of menu would really fit Persona 4 Rewind. Now, hear me out. The menus in those games are amazing, especially Persona 3 Reloads. How it moves and changes so fluidly, it's amazing. But for a game like Persona 4, I don't think it would really fit. The style of Persona 4 is a TV type of style, with the UI feeling like an old TV from the 80s. I feel like they should really keep this style in, as you know, it fits the entire game. I feel like an upgrade to the existing style would be nice. Hell, they wouldn't really even have to change much. I feel like the best thing they could do is kind of do like a Persona 5 type of transition. I know I just said I didn't like the style, but like do it like with TV menus instead. In the menus, do something where it's like you're changing channels or something. In the battles, if they do a baton pass or a shift, like from P3R or P5R, make it to where the characters, like, it's like an introduction to a sitcom, like the characters' portraits and the names will come up or be highlighted as you switch to them. Speaking of the character portraits, I feel like they're fine as they are already. Like, they could be updated with better art, but they just look fine. Maybe they could add more poses for them like they have in Persona 5 Royale or Persona 3 Reload. Hell, they could just change nothing and just add simple quality of life stuff and I would still like it. Oh, another thing I would really like to see from Persona 3 Reload and 5 is the ability to see where social links are and who is available. Though it's pretty finding them in Isabus since it's a pretty small map. It would just be really nice if you can just select on the map which one you want to go to, or maybe what they do in Persona 5 Royale where they'll message you and you can go to them. Persona 4's UI has really held its own weight over the years, and it's the best looking pre-Persona 5 UI. I would personally say it's one of my favorites. Yes, this section did kind of just turn into me gushing over the UI and Persona 4 in general, but it's still an amazing and stylish UI. Okay, I'm finally done gushing about the UI. We can move on to boss fights now. The boss fights in Persona 4 are fine. They're good, but I feel like they could use just a little more. At the time of writing this script, I just finished Persona 4 Golden the anime, and I noticed a few things. For one, Yu gets Izanami no Akami during Marie's fight, then loses it during the Izanami fight. Something I think would be cool to add would be if you romance Marie and had Izanagi, Izanagi would upgrade into a newer version of itself. Maybe like a mixture between Izanagi and Kaguya Izanagi if you would. I feel like this would symbolize you and Marie's relationship. If you didn't romance her and you don't get it, maybe you could unlock the fusion recipe for it or something. Adachi's boss fight, I think, would be way more interesting if it was just Yu versus Adachi. In both the Golden and the original anime, Yu goes on and fights Adachi alone, which is a really nice battle. Adachi fights the person he's jealous of, and Yu fights one of his friends. Granted, I'm not sure if people would really like this because of them not being able to have their party members, so I feel like this is a big maybe in the grand scheme of things. Just another thing, before I go to the next section, can I just make this dipshit's boss fight just easier? Like, the concept is cool and all, like, the RPG style of attacking all that, but it just gets annoying, and his boss fight just fucking sucks, dude. Just make it different, or something. This section is just going to be really short because all I'm saying is that they should really just have more pre-rendered cutscenes. Persona 3 Reload only has 6 pre-rendered cutscenes, and they look pretty good, besides Junpei's arms in the second to last one, but still. Overall, I think it would just be cool if they just had more animated and pre-rendered cutscenes, maybe showing the shadow transformations and more battle introduction stuff, but, you know, that's basically it. I'm gonna keep this short and sweet, keep the original cast. The thing with Persona 3's original cast at the time of Fez and the original and Portable, they just didn't sound too into it. Fuka's great, but I just thought of that one Tartarus clip of Junpei where he says that he wants to get stepped on by Mitsuru.
Fuka's great, but I also miss Kirijo-senpai navigating. It kind of felt like getting stepped on.
I'm not sure what you mean by that, but did you want to be punished? Good boy. You deserve a treat.
Fuku's great, but like, she just sounds bland. She does sound goofy, but she sounds bland.
Senpai! The enemy's targeting Akihiko-senpai! Ken-kun is unconscious! Ken-kun, I won't forgive that shadow!
They got better with the new releases, such as Persona Q and Dancing All Night, but the reload cast just sounds a lot better. For Persona 4 Golden, the cast is amazing. They all flow so well together and they just feel right. They feel like best friends, and the people in the game feel like real people. They're all funny and amazing. The one thing though I really hope is that they bring back Troy Baker. Whoops, wrong picture. Let me just shorten this and grab this. There we go, there he is. If you didn't know, halfway during the recording for the Persona 4 anime, Troy Baker was switched out with Matthew Mercer due to Baker having his honeymoon, and they just never had him voice Kanji again. So I really hope they bring him back, and if I keep this section going, I'm just gonna keep blazing them. So I'm moving on. The music in Persona 4 Golden is amazing, but in some spaces it just might be lacking. Besides the big story fights, such as Marie's fight or the final boss, all the party members' shadows bosses share the same theme, that being I'll face myself battle. It's a fine song, but I feel like using the same song over and over again is kinda repetitive. I feel like using a song that fits more with the character would go pretty well. I think something that would be cool is like maybe a remix of their dungeon theme or an entirely new track that symbolizes the emotion that these shadows are trying to show. Another thing they would do is just add new verses to the songs, kind of like what they did for Matt Destruction in Persona 3 Reload. Hell, Time to Make History already has a full version which was used in the Persona 4 dancing game. In the Persona 4 Golden anime, they have a track called Yang Yang that plays during Yu's and Adachi's fight. The entire song is basically Lotus Juice just having a rap battle with an evil version of himself, with inserts from Shikohoko Hirata. But this song, like, slaps. And I feel like, at least in the English dub of the game, it fits so well. If you don't know, Adachi and Yu share the same VA, Johnny Youngbosh. I feel like it really fits for this boss battle since it's just Lotus Juice singing with himself, dispelling the lies that Adachi keeps telling himself. The other boss music I would really want changed is the Genesis. Now, I don't want the song itself to be changed. The song is really good, but I feel like it could just be a little more dynamic. Maybe during the fight, basically have it before you get Izanami below half health. It plays the less hopeful part of the song, you know, the beginning. But when you finally get her down to like half health or lower, it plays the Reach Out to the Truth reprise. I love the Genesis, but I've read online that many people who were very overpowered by the time they got to the fight never even got to that part of the song. So I feel like it would get more people to hear this masterpiece. All the endings are fine, but I feel like the Accomplished ending is a little rushed. Yes, I've been glazing the Persona 4 anime, but I feel like using the ending there for that game would be a better option. It shows that Yu didn't just suddenly turn into a terrible person. He was blinded by the fact of saving everyone that he started to save the wrong people. I like how instead of skipping straight to 321, they showed how Adachi has become more involved in Yu's final moments in Inaba, showing how much Yu is distracting himself from his friends. He's not a terrible person, he's just an easily influential kid, and this ending shows that, with him regretting his decision right after, kinda like what they do in 321, but we don't talk about that. He isn't an accomplice. He was blackmailed into it, with Adachi saying that he's basically under his control now. An amazingly terrible ending, and with the added scenes, it would go harder. For the under endings, maybe like the one where you don't fight Adachi, I think it'll be cool for some extra added cutscenes showing Inaba getting overturned by shadows, or showing the bodies of the party members that you didn't save, etc, etc. Other than that, the endings are perfect in their own ways, especially the true ending. The final thing I want to cover is our baby boy, Yu Narukami. At first I was going to say something like remove the naming feature or something like that, but then I realized that's one of the things that makes Persona. So I thought of a different solution. You know how in Fallout 4, Codsworth will say the name that you choose, from stuff like Felix to the less fortunate ones.
Good answer.
I have my moments.
Mr. Fuckface!
God, I feel so bad for you. Your parents are terrible. But instead of having the VAs just read off a bunch of different names, have them read off one. You, Narukami. Most places where they say your name, it's at the end or beginning of the sentence, with rare moments where it's in the middle. So I feel like it would be pretty simple to have each VA just record them saying you Narukami in different emotions. Basically what I'm trying to say is that if you put your name down as you Narukami, it would recognize that and have the characters call you by that name whenever they do mention you. Yu's name is probably the least fought over in the Persona community, as the 2 sequel games have already used it. So I already feel like it confirms his name as canon. That also goes for if you switch the game's linkage from one to another, it automatically defaults as Yu Narukami. So you know, I love Yu Narukami so much. Just look at him, he's so cute. I just want to clarify again, Persona 4 does not need a remake. It's already perfect as is, but if by some goofy little chance that it does, this is basically just what I would like to see. That's basically everything I can say without reciting all my points, and if you want me to recite my points, just go watch the video again. But yeah, this outro is just gonna be it. Like the video, please. I hope you enjoyed. Yeah, bye.